Michigan office. Um, I appreciate everybody taking the time to join us this morning. As many of you know, this morning we filed a lawsuit in the Grand Traverse County Circuit Court on behalf of our client, Aaron Badeau, as well as his wife and four children
Recording in progress.
against Walmart and Bradford James Gilly from the mass stabbing attack that took place at the Walmart in Traverse City last summer on July 26th. The reason that this lawsuit was filed and the reason that we are all here today is because Walmart has refused to take any responsibility for their negligence. We've been in contact with Walmart and their lawyers, and they refuse to negotiate. Walmart has taken the position that the law here in Michigan is favorable to them, and therefore they have no responsibility for this horrific event that occurred in their store. What they're saying is they don't have the same responsibility to customers in Michigan as they do in other states. What they're telling us is that they do not think that they have the same duties to protect their customers in Michigan as they do in other states. What they're saying is they don't care as much about the folks here in Michigan. What I'd like to now show you is a portion of the surveillance video from Walmart that was released by the Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Department. And I know many of you may have seen this video already. One thing to point out is that this video does not include all 11 stabbing victims. It includes about 8 of those victims, but there are a few things that I want to point out as we play this video. What is significant here is Mr. Gilly, as you can see here, is wearing a large green duffel backpack. This was noticed by a number of customers throughout his time in that Walmart. And you'll see here Mr. Gilly attacks his first victim. Then he turns and runs, goes to a second, a third, and you can now see the chaos and the mayhem beginning as he runs throughout the store, popping in and out of aisles and attacking numerous customers. A total of 10 customers and one Walmart employee. He stabbed a total of 11 people that afternoon. You'll see he jumps in this aisle, attacks yet another victim. This is our client, Aaron Badeau, as well as his wife, Melinda Badeau. Then Gilly runs out the store and attacks 2 more people, one on his way out and one right here in the parking lot. You'll notice he is surrounded by a number of customers and held in place until the police arrived. Now, we know that the first call to 911 was at 4:43 p.m. What we also know, leading up to Mr. Gilly's entrance into that Walmart, we know that he was at a Burger King just up the road from the Walmart. While he was there, he was loitering around, made some employees uncomfortable, and before they called the police, he left that Burger King at 4:03. From there, he walked across the Home Depot parking lot. He was next observed just outside the Dollar Tree. One person reported that she noticed him. He looked very intense and he was not he was not comfortable. He made her uncomfortable. Then he proceeded to the Walmart. We know that he entered that Walmart at 4:10 p.m. This was 33 minutes before the first attack. And during that time, numerous customers observed Gilly and his behavior, including Melinda Badeau. Melinda, when she entered the store with her family, immediately noticed this man wearing a large green backpack. She noticed him intently looking at the ceiling. She noticed him acting very odd, and she guided her family in another direction. Another witness noticed Gilly pacing back and forth in between aisles and throughout the store. Other witnesses observed him and went in other directions. They skipped portions of their shopping to avoid him. Witnesses observed his eyes darting around, keeping a lookout, and one witness thought that he was shoplifting. Witnesses saw him. One witness thought to take a mental picture of him and remember him because he stood out. She then continued to do her shopping, keeping a lookout for him. At one point during her shopping, she turned around and he was right there behind her. For some unknown reason, he turned around and walked away. The next thing she knows is she hears a loud scream, and this was Gilly's first stabbing victim. Then there are more screams and more chaos ensues. Now, during those 33 minutes between the time he walked in at 4:10 and the first stabbing at 4:43, numerous customers observed Gilly acting suspiciously, never focusing on doing any shopping. He had no basket, he had no cart. He was moving throughout the facility and reappearing at the same location. He was wandering with a large duffel bag throughout the store, and he was intently studying the security cameras on the ceiling. And once these attacks began, Walmart employees did not provide any sort of warning or direction to their customers. They simply ran. Literally, one employee has stated, "I just ran. I ran," as did all the other employees. It was two heroic veterans that eventually surrounded Gilly, prevented further attacks until the police arrived, which was in 3 minutes of that first 911 call. Now, I'd like to turn this over to my colleague, Nick Panagakis, who will be working with me on this file, and we will be the ones that will try this case. Nick?
Thank you, David. Good morning. The simple truth is Walmart had 30 minutes. The police needed 3 minutes. For 30 minutes, he walked through Walmart with that backpack. 30 minutes while shoppers picked up groceries, while families browsed the aisles, while Aaron Boudreaux and his family were shopping for sidewalk chalk. 30 minutes with a red flag that Walmart's own safety rules required action by them. Walmart has security policies for a reason, to protect customers like Aaron Boudreaux and his family. Their own rules identify a large, out of season backpack as a red flag requiring action. For 30 minutes, this man loitered in their store with that exact red flag, and Walmart did nothing. They didn't call police, they didn't approach him, they didn't follow their own safety rules. When police were finally called, they arrived in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. The station was only a mile and a half away. That means for 27 of those 30 minutes, help was 3 minutes away. But Walmart never made the call. 11 people were stabbed. My client was the ninth victim. If Walmart had simply followed their own policy, the policy they created because they knew this danger existed, those 27 minutes would have prevented this attack entirely, or at least stopped it before my client and 10 others were harmed. This case is about a simple principle: practice what you preach. Walmart created rules to keep customers safe, then ignored those very rules when it mattered the most. They chose profit and convenience over the safety of the people who trusted them. That's not just negligence, that's a betrayal of the most basic responsibility any business has to its customers. We intend to hold Walmart accountable for putting policy manuals on shelves while leaving customers unprotected on their floors. The simple truth is, Walmart had 30 minutes, the police needed 3 minutes. The simple truth is, Aaron Boudreaux was the ninth person stabbed because Walmart ignored their own red flags. At this point, David is going to tell you a little bit about our client, Aaron Boudreaux.
So you'll see here in the video, this is Aaron. He is 41 years old. That is his wife, Melinda, directly behind him. The blacked out portion of this screen, the reason that this is blacked out is standing right there are his 4 children. Emily is 13. Eden is 11. Elizabeth is 8. And their son Enoch is 6 years old. You see, Aaron is sticking out his left arm here to stop his family from proceeding any further as they hear the screams coming from the left and seeing Gilly running through the store. Gilly's next move is to lunge what Aaron perceived to be towards Melinda, but he stayed in the way and he took the first stab to his right arm, severing an artery. And then as Gilly ran, stabbed Aaron a second time in the back. Aaron proceeded to bleed profusely right in front of his children. His daughter went down to her knees and began to pray, as did his wife, Melinda. Thankfully, there were a couple of good Samaritans. There was one gentleman who we've tried to locate named Gary. And if Gary happens to see this, I'd ask that he please reach out to us, because Aaron wants to thank you, as does his family. What Gary did was came up to Aaron as he's bleeding out on the floor. I mean, he lost 3 quarts of blood. There are photos of the amount of blood all over the floor. But what Gary did was took off his belt, used it as a tourniquet, and stopped the bleeding until EMS were able to arrive. The EMS technicians have said that Aaron was within seconds of dying, right there in front of his 4 children and his wife. There was another young man that, if he is seeing this, I ask that he reach out to us as well. But he kneeled down next to Aaron, asked Aaron if he was a religious man, and Aaron is, and he asked Aaron to pray with him, and the two of them prayed while EMS technicians and Good Samaritans worked to save his life. Aaron suffered a severe vascular injury which required emergency surgery at Munson. The following morning, he was immediately transferred to the University of Michigan Hospital because of nerve damage within his right arm. He has no use of his right wrist, hand at this point because of the severed nerves that occurred. Those that attended to Aaron at Walmart and those that treated him at the hospital are absolute heroes, and they saved his life. But I'll tell you, the other thing is, Aaron Badeau is a hero as well, because he probably saved the life of his wife and maybe even his 4 children. Aaron couldn't be here with us today, but he did provide a statement that I'd like to read for you. I said my goodbyes to my family while bleeding out on the Walmart floor because I didn't think I was going to make it. Thanks to the kindness and extraordinary efforts of many people, I am still here today. My goal with this lawsuit is to hold Walmart accountable for my permanent injuries and the trauma my family endured, and to compel Walmart to make the changes necessary to prevent something like this from happening again. I'll now turn it over, and we will take any questions that you may have.
So if you have any questions, please raise your hand or you can put it in the chat. We'll call you in one by one. We do ask that when you're unmuted that you say your name and what outlet you're from. Julia?
Hi there. This is Julia Carty with the Detroit News. If you can hear me, I wanted to ask what are the specific accusations against Bradford Gilly in this lawsuit? And also, second part to that question, I mean, if I can ask, what is the practical reason for naming Mr. Gilly in this case? Just given what we have learned about him and his family's resources, that it just seems unlikely to be able to recover from him monetarily in this case. Can either of you speak on that a little bit?
Well, the reason Mr. Gilly is in this lawsuit is because Walmart is going to blame him and say that it's all his fault and accept no responsibility. We sympathize with Mr. Gilly's mental health condition. Mental health is real. Our client and his family now have real mental health issues because of the negligence of Walmart. But make no mistake about it, Julia, the issue here with Mr. Gilly was manifested only because Walmart allowed it to fester for, and I said 30 minutes, it was technically 33 minutes, just trying to, even be more fair to Walmart. And whatever demons he had going inside of his brain were allowed to manifest for over 30 minutes while they ignored obvious red flags. These are written in their policies and procedures. One thing that you probably know is that as the largest, richest, retailer in the world, Walmart has access to extraordinary resources. They didn't have security. We're not even aware that they had loss prevention officers walking The floors and the aisles, as you saw, he was all over that store for about 3 minutes, even after the attack started. On top of that, there's no evidence that they were monitoring their own cameras. And David pointed this out earlier. He was at Burger King for a few minutes. He purchased something. They saw he was acting odd. They asked him to leave, and he left. So at the end of the day, the better question is, why is Walmart not accepting any responsibility? And why are they blaming Mr. Gilley for completely dropping the ball, not having the training that they're supposed to have for mass shooting events? One thing you're probably all aware of is name another retailer and that you all will get a copy of the complaint. And we just put a snippet in the complaint of the mass shootings and stabbings that have occurred just in the 10 years all throughout the United States. Why does it not change? Why did Bloomberg News in 2016 do an expose on Walmart almost 10 years ago now, and why has nothing changed? Why do they refuse to accept responsibility and blame other people besides themselves? So the short answer to your question is, I'd ask you all to ask Walmart, why are they blaming him? The reason he's in the complaint is because Walmart's going to blame him, and if we don't put him in the complaint, they're going to do it for us, and it just delays the inevitable otherwise.
And so is it essentially the claim against Mr. Gilley, is it essentially like a personal injury, like a tort claim? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a basic assault and battery claim for the action that he did. So, I mean, he did commit an action that was a criminal action. It also arises or creates a civil cause of action. But make no mistake about it, the criminal system will do what they're going to do to Mr. Gilley. My understanding is there's still issues with his competency at this point. But at the end of the day, the law in Michigan, and I know David talked about this in his introductory comments, allows the defendant, if they want, to blame the attacker in this case. And that is what Walmart has made clear to us in refusing to negotiate in good faith and refusing to attempt to resolve this case in any way whatsoever, because they feel like they can blame the attacker, and the good people in Traverse County will just give them a pass.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nick?
Hi, this is Nick Simon with 9 and 10 News. I know that you guys briefly touched on it, but I was hoping that you guys could address what you hope to get out of this lawsuit, either concretely with the numbers or with policy changes.
Well, I mean, let's take the second question first. We expect to hold Walmart accountable for not enforcing their own safety rules, for not training their own employees on their own safety rules. And folks, this is not a coincidence. Why does this happen again and again and again and again and again? Why didn't they make a phone call? That's all it took. Why didn't they contact a manager? Why didn't they, assuming they even had loss prevention, which there's no evidence that they did, why didn't they contact loss prevention? You don't hear this happening at Myers. You don't hear this happening at Target. You just don't hear this happening. It happens continuously at Walmart. So, we intend to hold them responsible first and foremost, and hope that they finally follow their own policies and procedures. They're not any good if you write them down, but you don't follow them. You don't train anybody on them. And again, I encourage you to look at the Bloomberg News expose from 2016. I mean, nothing has changed. It continues every single year. Why does this only happen at Walmart? As far as what we hope to achieve for Aaron and his family, I mean, obviously he suffered harms and losses, both medically, physically, emotionally, as has his family. He's got medical expenses. He's going to have medical expenses, and they will have medical and therapeutic expenses in the past and into the future, as well as, their human damages for, what can't be, fixed or paid for otherwise. And that's ultimately something a jury in Traverse County is going to have to decide, which is why the lawsuit was brought. This is apparently what Walmart wanted, and they think that the jury is going to blame Mr. Gilley for them not following their own policies. Make no mistake about it. We're not here suggesting that, Walmart had to accost him as the heroic two veterans did outside. But, all they needed to do was make a phone call or talk to him. But when you allow someone like this with these issues, and I know there's been a lot in the media that's talked about the mental health issues of Mr. Gilly, and again, we're not here to minimize that. But remember where he went. Remember what he was looking around the cameras. And when you allow a person this condition to fester and you allow those demons to fester around his head, mayhem happens. Bad things happen. 11 people were injured seriously for the rest of their lives through no fault of their own. This should have never happened. And at the end of the day, the main reason that we're bringing this case is because Aaron and his family want justice, they want accountability, and they want Walmart to accept responsibility and follow their own policies and procedures.
If I could just follow up on that for a moment as well. Walmart has these policies, and stores like this are required to train their employees, and they're to be trained to watch out for suspicious activity. Like Nick said, we're not expecting a cashier to confront Mr. Gilly, who is attacking people, but we do expect those employees, all of them, if they recognize some sort of suspicious behavior, such as somebody walking with this large backpack, somebody who is intently watching the ceiling, looking to the security camera, somebody that's darting in and out of aisles, somebody that's looking around to see who might be watching. When you see somebody like that, you need to say something to a manager, or if there is loss prevention there, to somebody who is capable of doing something like that. And none of that was done for 33 minutes. All these customers who are not trained to watch for those types of things all observed it. And had Walmart trained their employees, as they claim to do, and former employees have told us they did not receive any sort of training in this regard, they would have known to call the police. They would have known to do something. And they didn't. And because of that, he was able to walk around the store for 33 minutes, casing the facility, and start his attacks. All of which could have been avoided had somebody at Walmart just been paying attention.
Yeah, I mean, I think just to echo what David said, I mean, a couple things. Number one, there is a well-known saying that applies to all aspects of retail, hotels, and otherwise. And that saying is, see something, say something. That is all throughout law enforcement in Michigan, the FBI, the Department of Justice. It's really that simple. See something, say something. And then you have to marry that in this case with the fact that Walmart's own policies specifically identify a backpack as a red flag. You didn't see a shopping cart. You didn't see him shopping. I mean, he had a giant backpack in Michigan on July 26, 2025. I mean, with a cap, drawn low, covering his face. I mean, there could not be anything more suspicious. And then you marry that with the fact that you've got a police station that is a mile and a half away, and once they get a call, they're there in 3 minutes. I mean, I said 30, 27, just to be fair. Really, it was 30 minutes and 3 minutes to spare in this case. But, let's just say give him 3 minutes to, eye him out and determine what the issue is. And so at the end of the day, under the law, there's something called foreseeability. It's really simpler than that. See something, say something, or say it another way. If it's predictable, it's preventable. This was totally preventable by Walmart. They just needed to make a call.
Rebecca?
This is Rebecca Pierce at the Traverse City Record Eagle. Thank you for having this press conference. It's been very educational for us because there hasn't been a great deal of information offered by the authorities. And you mentioned the other victims in this case. Have you had contact with any of those other victims? And if so, are you aware of what their circumstances are right now? And will you be documenting some of these other situations as you've so uh, uh, done so well in the case of your client? And also, are you aware of any other civil actions that are developing on behalf of those other victims? Thank you.
David, why don't you take this one?
Sure. Thank you for the question, Rebecca. Yes, we have been in contact with other victims. We do know of at least two other victims that are represented by counsel. We have been in touch with those attorneys as well. It is our understanding that Walmart has not been in any sort of negotiations with them either. In speaking to those attorneys, my understanding is it is their intentions to file lawsuits as well. So I hope that answered all of your questions. Maybe I missed part of it, but let me know if there's more information that you were looking for.
Well, I wondered what their situations are. As your client has been suffering the loss of his arm, are you aware of some of the other situations that these other victims have had to address? What?
Sure. Well, many of them suffered very significant injuries. I think a total of six of the victims at least underwent some sort of emergency surgery. I know of one other victim that also has nerve damage to his left arm. What is interesting is that it appears as if Gilly, each one of these attacks, he was able to hit various organs and arteries. I don't know what sort of training he had, but I know that he hit one person in the liver, another one in lungs, a number with arteries. There was one victim who was cut across her face and eye. It appeared that he was going for her throat, but just by her movement that he didn't hit her throat. But I don't know the status of all of their recovery in medical situation at this point.
One follow-up. Do you know much about Gilly? Because he's been through situations before where he's been tried and found he can't be held responsible under the law because of his condition. Are you aware of the background with this man?
David, why don't you answer that, and then I may follow up on it. Go ahead, David.
Sure. we're aware of his background through just our investigation and knowing his criminal history. I've seen interviews with that his brother gave shortly after this incident. So yes is the answer to your question. I mean, we are aware of his criminal history, including a couple of incidents in just the days leading up to this.
And the only thing that I would add is, and I know I alluded to this earlier, the criminal and the civil justice system are totally different. And the issue in this case is, was Walmart negligent or careless? You know, was this predictable? Was it preventable? Regardless of who the person is or what their condition might be. Particularly, and here's the thing, particularly because their policies specifically talk about a suspicious individual acting exactly like this. So it is, in fact, his condition is something that is a red flag in and of itself. Then you add what he was doing, the loitering, not shopping, a large out of season backpack, not having a cart, not having a basket, nothing. All of those factors are the combination of the red flag. So in fact, his condition is yet another red flag in and of itself.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Frank?
Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. I was just wondering, the Walmart employee who's a victim, could you talk about how that person fits into the timeline, and maybe if you know what that person was doing when the attack on occurred?
David, go ahead.
So the Walmart employee was the third victim overall. I don't know if he was actually, when you watch our video, the first couple of victims that we identify are the ones that are observed in the video, right? So, you know, take those numbers when you watch our video that we played earlier, with a little bit of a grain of salt, because again, some of the attacks were not in that video, but the Walmart employee was the third in the sequence of events, and specifically what he was doing at the time, I do not know, other than my understanding is that he was simply walking through the store at the time. It was not my understanding in response to these attacks or anything like that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much for joining us today. We will be sending out a copy of the complaint with our press release in a few minutes. And if you would like a copy of this recording, please let us know. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Recording stopped.